you guys? How are you all? Thank you guys for being here. So, happy Saturday. I wanted to come on today and talk about some new messages that have been released really quickly with you guys and just hang out with you for a few minutes. So, hey Tara, hey Tess, hey Brandy. Thank you for coming over there and watching, Brandy, by the way. Hey Hippie Chick. Hey Nancy, Katrina, Alicia, Tell the Truth. Hey Teacup, hey Wicked West. Good to see you guys. Hey Riley, hey Connie, Bendy, hey Keith, Tara, Jenny. I haven't been saying individual hellos. Sometimes I don't know. Like, is it better to just chat at the end for the replay viewers? I don't really know, but we had to come on and talk about this really quick. But a couple things before we get into it. So, both Jen Lou and I, and it's not this channel, I'm going to drop her channel that these will be on. Both Jen and I, in the last couple days, have released a total of 4 body cam videos for Letitia Stout that have not been seen before. I can't even believe that we got them still, honestly, because these body cam videos were brought up in her trial, and it was from an incident that happened, you know, almost a year prior to the crime. So we did finally receive them, and they are posted. If you want to check them out with no commentary on both channels, there's 2 on each right now. Now, one of them can be, it's 2 officers' point of view. It's not the same video, and there's different parts to, like, there's little parts that are different, but you will see that the 14-minute video and like her 30-some minute video, the 14-minute video of mine, are somewhat alike because these officers work together at times, right? But they are so interesting. So tomorrow, I think tomorrow early afternoon, we will be giving commentary on those. It'll be over here first. We'll do, a couple of them, and then we'll do a direct link over to Jen's and do the other 2. And I'm really excited. I cannot wait to talk about those with you. But if you're interested, go check them out. And then the other thing is, the other day I had Jay from Guilty of Crime on for an interview. Jen came up. It was fun. I loved it. It was a great time. If you missed it, go check it out. And also, her channel is linked in the description because part of these messages we're going to read come from there. So, yeah, check out all of those things. And that's pretty much it. That's all the housekeeping. I'm outside. It's a beautiful day, but I bet y'all can hear all the outdoor noises. Birds are chirping, honey. Okay, so now, Stephan Stearns, you guys know, I checked the docket right before. Here, let me just first this up. So, Stephan Stearns is sitting in jail right now, for those of you who may not know, accused of long-term abuse and murder of Madeline Soto. Madeline Soto, here she is. She went missing in 2024 on February 22nd. No, I'm sorry, on the 26th, her birthday. She just turned 13 on the 22nd. She went missing on the 26th, and she was found a few days later, and he was arrested. We have been covering and following this case since day one. If you don't know, there's tons of stuff on my channel and all over YouTube regarding this case. Well, right now, he is, in jail awaiting his first trial, which is supposed to start in July. One of you guys, Kelly, actually sent me this letter that she sent to Stephan Stearns. I believe she sent it to Bendy, and she sent it to Jay too, which I didn't know. So at the time, I don't think I even knew of Jay's channel yet. But she wrote Stephan Stearns a letter, okay? And she said that I could show it then. Now we have messages of him and his mom talking about this letter. He did not actually receive it, but he knew that it was sent to the jail. And I think that she put the return address as Jen's address. I don't think Kelly's here right now. But so that's where we're at. Okay, I'm going to show you Kelly's letter, and then we're going to look at what Stephan and his mom had to say about it. So thank you to Jay for putting this up, because we wouldn't have it otherwise. I really appreciate it. Please check out her full video in the description that's talking about this. And yeah, I think that, we'll probably do, stop the screen share. I'm crazy. Okay, so here is Kelly's letter. I'm just going to read it. I'm not going to soften any words. Here's the thing though, that so you can say whatever you want on your YouTube channel. You just won't get AdSense for your video, right? If they flag it, if there's something inappropriate. So that's one thing, which is fine. But the problem is that you like kind of you have to think about is when your video is flagged, YouTube won't push it out to as many people. But I think it's really important to just use the words for what they are. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm just going to read it exactly as it is. She sent it April 23rd, got to him pretty quick. So it says, "Hi, while awaiting the start of your trial in a few short hours, I began to wonder if you were aware of how popular you have become." I think she meant your hearing. "You in your case have taken social media by storm, and we will be watching every day of your trials live. We are all curious when you are going to finally give up the disgusting human potato Jen Soto, so that she can be held accountable for her part in the lifetime of abuse of poor Maddie, the lifetime of abuse poor Maddie suffered, and eventually her demise. Everyone knows that she is just as responsible for Maddie's stolen innocence and murder as you are." So again, this is just the letter as it is, her opinion, just to be clear. And anybody's opinion, I'm open to all opinions. "So every day while I work, I realize you know nothing about what a 60-hour work week looks like. It's something that grown-ups do to pay bills, but I digress." Damn straight. And he doesn't. "I listen to multiple podcasts and news channels, catching up on your case and hearing the details from different perspectives. Your jail calls with your parents, with your pathetic and passive aggressive begging for root beer barrel money and graphic novels, as well as going over the hourly inmate reports that show how you never shower and refuse most of your meals. No wonder Maddie called you stinky, and now so does the entire world. At this point, Stinky Stearns. Poor Maddie having to endure years of your stinking ass all over her night after night, and then having to continue to smell you on herself all day at school while she fought to stay awake because she couldn't get the proper rest she needed for a child to thrive and learn. How unbelievably sad. There are no words. Although the entire world has different perspectives, we all share the same opinion that you are just the grossest human being on the planet. How does it feel knowing you are so hated by the entire world?" So for those of you guys coming in, this is one of your guys's letters to Stephan Stearns, and we're going to read that and then read what him and his mom had to say about this letter. I hope that Kelly will come in. Yeah, I really like Kelly. She's in here a lot, so I've come to know her a little bit. So she goes on to say, "You are no doubt a beta. The sound of your voice, your posture, body language, everything about you is so telling of how much you are not a man. You never worked hard and provided for yourself anything other than toys and pills, and there is not anything more unattractive and disgusting than a pilled out man child that plays with toys, leeches off of others, lives with his parents, and oh yeah, abuses little girls. Just gross. You don't have one redeeming quality about you, not one." Pinche, good to see you. Thank you for being a member for 17 months. Happy Mother's Day. Thank you. Feliz Dia de las Madres. Yeah, I'm terrible. And I took years of Spanish and have Hispanic family members. I mean, I'm Hispanic, but only 25%. But yeah, you wouldn't know it. Thank you, Pinche Becky. Okay, let's continue. "I thought for fun we could list all the things that make you a useless piece of human shit besides being a pedo and a killer." Hey, warrior woman, happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to you guys. Thank you guys. Hey, not that Justin. Okay, let's continue. I said it right. "You don't bathe. You're dirty. You're stank. You're ugly as fuck. You're a freeloader and a succubus of others. You never had anything of your own. You're a leech. You're a terrible son. You're self-absorbed and self-righteous, and everything that comes out of your mouth just makes you sound dumb and repulsive. You're not even a good liar. Your voice is nauseating. You're weak. You contribute nothing good to the world. You're vile. You're a predator and now a killer, and not even good at that. You offer nothing good to anyone or anything in this world. Being that you have taken and taken all these years, thinking only of yourself, don't you think it's high time to give back? I can think of two things left for you to take, but these two things would be a positive, not a negative, and everyone else would be so thankful for it. Now, Tico. Thank you, Pinche. Yay. So it's a just a viewer, Tara, one of you guys. I don't mean to say just a viewer. I just mean, maybe not somebody that you would recognize by their name, but I'll just say a chatter. I hope that she'll come in here, and her name is Kelly. And then she had emailed this letter to me, I think Bindi, to Jay, when she sent it to Stephan Stearns. And then we get to see him and his mom, like I said before, discuss it. So here's the two things she would be thankful for. Number one, take Jen Soto's freedom away. Turn her in so she can be held accountable in this shit and Maddie can get the justice she deserves. You kind of owe it to her, don't you think? It's not fair to you being punished and she gets away with, well, murder. She gets to stay overly medicated and sleep in a real bed, probably with a fan and AC, and have all of her freedoms while you take all the charges and suffer. Come on now, that's not fair. I am curious, do they have any air conditioning in the Florida jails? Because, whoo, I can imagine if they do not, that the summertime would not be very comfy. Number two, I'll just say, do us all a favor and yourself. Don't make the state of Florida pay for you to sit on death row for years and years, draining your parents financially and costing the taxpayers like myself to feed you, house you, share air with you. You're never getting out and nobody wants you here. Take that burden off of everyone and take your freedom back. Don't be a pussy. Show us all what a big man you can be. Do it for Maddie. Disrespectfully, fuck off, Stinky Stearns. So, this is a letter. The jail he didn't actually get to see everything that is said because it appears that the jail kept the letter. I don't know if it's because of what was contained in the letter or because the return address was Jen Soto's address. Now, because he was notified, the way I understand it, that Jen had sent something. Hey, Vicky. Lily, right? I mean, that's where I'm at too. Now, do I think that just knowing what we know, there are probably some things she could be charged with, like endangerment, neglect? I would think so. But honestly, I wouldn't know more than the police that are doing this case. And the detectives, they were very angry with her. I really, truly believe in my heart that if there is a way to charge her, they would. True, Cray. Good call not using your own address. Hey, Amber. I think they did Jen or Tess at first. So now let's see what they said about it because this will clear it up a little bit. I'm not going to play Jay's video. I've linked it in the description. I'm just going to stop at these two timestamps, 25, 25, and 29 something, and read the messages. So Jay, in this live, she has a voice recording from Stephan's mom where she's like, Jay, because they've been talking and I guess people have questioned, are you actually talking? And this voice recording shows that yes, they are. Okay, sorry about that. Okay. So, Tara, I don't think that a lot of people don't agree with that. I just believe they need her to testify. A lot of people don't agree with that and think there's plenty without her, but she's a live-in witness. So I agree, she's a live-in witness, but honestly, think about it. Let's look at the case as if, for some reason she couldn't testify no matter what. Let's say she's sick in the hospital in a coma or something, right? And no matter what, they have to move forward with the trial without her. Look at what they have. I don't see a need for her. Yeah, I think I'm on the opinion that I don't see a need for her to testify. But I do agree with you. I see the value in a live-in witness. Lucid Dreams loves the letter. So I don't think Lily loves the letter. Some people do, some don't. Like I said, all opinions are welcome. I adore Kelly and I respect her opinion. I don't necessarily agree with it all. I don't. I just don't think there's any evidence that Jen was involved in taking Maddie's life. We know that her phone, the officers said they could see her phone went down on charge on the dock, and literally she ignores an alarm at like 9 a.m. And then when the next alarm at like 10 minutes later goes off, she gets up, and that's around the time Stephan agreed that she got up. I'm just not sure. I think they would have found evidence by now. Maybe I'm totally wrong. And look, I've been wrong a million times. And even like trying to give opinions and guesses on these cases, there are always surprises. Hell, Lori Vallow was charged and had an indictment for conspiracy to murder of Charles Vallow for years, and we didn't know, or a long time, right? It was all sealed until the other court stuff got figured out. There can always be surprises, so I'm keeping an open mind and totally respect all opinions. I just like to share with you guys kind of where I'm at. Agree, Tara. I think her neglect got Maddie in the situation she was in. I do. Woke up a little spicy this afternoon. Woke up to Hidden True Crime about Lori Vallow. I'll have to check it out. She cannot be trusted to give true statements. That's true, Nancy. That is true. She'd be a terrible witness, considering like the defense would tear her apart. Think about it. She lied immediately to police that we took her to school as if she was part of it. She lied and said that she saw her that morning or talked to her that morning. I mean, Hey, Sprinkled Donut. Hey, Jacqueline. This honest and hilarious letter. I love the letter. Just the Jen address is valid. It's kind of baiting police or investigations to think Jen sent the letter. Well, I will say it said Jen the Potato Soto, so I think they knew it wasn't her. But okay, let's just look at it. Let's look at what they had to say. So here is a message from Stephan to his mom and dad. Or I think it's just to his mom, but it says, "Hey, okay, so it seems like that book is still on the way. That's cool. I will keep waiting for it. That's all I can do. Lol. Well, since you mentioned someone calling Jen a potato head, someone also tried to send me a letter. They scan all letters into the tablet system, but it looks like it came in on Tuesday the 29th, and it was marked as having come from Jennifer Potato Soto. So it seems like someone was trying to troll. I don't know what it said. The system said it was rejected for inappropriate content, so I wasn't even able to see it. Just that something came and who it was from and that it was rejected. Anyway, I guess the potato thing is really catching on." So see what I mean? It was kind of clear without reading it that it wasn't from Jen, but I can see all perspectives. Thank you, Tess. Okay, so this is the part that I think is interesting. So she responds, "Hi, Stephan. Nice to hear they reduced the price of calls. Looking forward to that. I hate that we are being recorded, though, and they are provided to the general public. Just dumb. No one on the outside of the case needs to know every nuance of what is happening in it, nor should they have access to our personal communications. I wonder how they would like to live under the same umbrella of lack of privacy." First of all, a couple things to this. The public actually, at this point, doesn't have access to all of their calls. They probably will after the trial, but it's only certain calls, right, that have been given to the defense and used in the discovery, right? That's the way that I understand it. That's why there's only a few calls out there, and it's not every single call. I agree, though. I think it would be very hard. It's not the parents' fault. Like, you have no privacy in jail. I don't give a fuck about your privacy. But, I do agree that it would be very hard to live under a microscope like that. Think about it. And this happens to families all the time. Like, hell, even look at the parents of missing teenager Sebastian Rogers. They are under a constant microscope, looking very closely at everything they do and judging everything they say, everything they do. Hell, with this case, you know, I have not necessarily been a fan of or agreed with some of the things that Stefan's parents have said to him, but also I don't have a clue how it would feel to have your child accused of something like this. I'm sure there's a process of acceptance and understanding, right? But why are people digging into their past from 30 years ago? Their financial, I don't know. I just don't think that's appropriate. We don't need to know that shit. Dig into everything about Stefan and Jen too. Honestly, I don't, that's different. But that's inappropriate. There has to be a line. People need to, I don't know. I'm not a fan. The stop is for the text, not out. Oh, stop right there. And do you want, hey, Jen, I'm not going to stay up too long because I have to go out today. But if you're free and want to come up, it's just a quick letter and then we can talk about it. And if not, I'll just read your comments here. She says, stop right there. That's how it works in Florida. I only want to offer because we've talked about this so much. Like, you know, I like to hear what you think. Stop right there. That's how it works in Florida. The public is tasked with making sure your gross ass gets a fair trial. The public are the overseers, smarty. Queen says, Queen of my crew, I'm watching on times 2. The letter is gold. I'm so glad someone wrote him that letter. Yeah, you hear the warning at the beginning. Yes, lucid dreams. Benzos do make you numb and antipsychotics. You're so right. Hey, DB Bentley, good to see you. Okay, Bendy. Here, I'm just going to put it in the chat. I'll just put up an overlay. Bada bing. There we go. Bada boom. Okay. Then let's look at the next paragraph. So, we are going to brunch tomorrow with one of Chris's coworkers. He's from Alabama and misses his weekly Sunday brunch with his family. He and Chris and Jay are like peas in a pod, each with a unique skill set, and it's so cohesive and complementary for them. I'm so happy for him. No more toxic working situation. He loves getting up and going to the office now. He absolutely loves Al. I hope the books make it through the mailroom to you. I saw a little bit revealed of the letter from Jen. That was not Jen, and it was pretty vile. I'm glad they didn't give it to you. The writer thought she was clever and funny. Well, not if you were on the receiving end of it. So, again, thank you to the guards for not giving it to you. How is the origami coming along? Made any animals or birds or flowers? I wish I could see the trays you made for your coffee and stuff. Very clever. You do have an artistic streak in you. It's a 29 something. Okay, hold on. 1 second. Hello?
Hello.
Are you hearing this?
Yes, I am hearing this. Is he doing crafts in the jail? Oh my God.
Oh my God, I forget exactly what it said, but yeah, I believe so.
You have an what'd she say? You have an artistic what?
Streak in you.
Streak in you. Yeah, he's also got a chomo streak in him too.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that Kelly sent you the letter too when she wrote it, or she told me she was going to.
She did. She did. I just likely got distracted by something shiny or nothing at all. Could have been just air. And I forgot. But she
Well,
did, and that was really sweet of her. And listen, I want you to know, Kelly, I appreciate it, and I'm sorry that I spaced. It's my bad.
oh no, I saw it. I didn't read it out because there just wasn't an opportunity, like a point where I should or it fit. But then I saw that they were talking about the letter, and it seems like Deb saw. I think Jay must have showed like because in this lab she's like I think she showed the first couple paragraphs or something, but that's it.
Oh,
And so
okay.
his mom had seen the letter, but what? How do you feel like about the jail keeping those like a letter like that from him? Is that good or bad?
Well, I think likely that it got kept from him for a couple of reasons. Probably the first and the foremost is because the return address was Jen Soto's. And there's a protective order. She is a victim, and he's not allowed contact with her. So that would have gotten it flagged almost immediately, but they probably looked at, but still, if she wrote him, if the return address was her address, the jail's going to open it anyway, just to see what it reads, what was written. And so, because if she's contacting him, even though that could be a problem for her as well. But I think that it's clear and the jail knows this too, that it's clear from the letter itself that it wasn't written by her.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I mean, I don't know. How do I feel about him not getting it? I suppose, mm, I'm not sure how I feel. I have to think about that really because I'm torn. Like, part of me wants to be like rational and be like, yeah, okay, but okay, if they do it for one, they have to do it for all. Okay. And even though Stephan Stearns is guilty, 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 there are people who have been arrested and charged with crimes who are actually innocent and so they all have the presumption of innocence. And that might also be why they don't give it to him. And I think that it's probably more in the interest of fairness that they don't give those types of letters. That I can get on board with because, I respect our system. But Stefan sucks. And he should know that he sucks. That's just my other opinion. So I'm both.
Yeah, I'm exactly with you because other inmates, like for all kinds of things, could get letters like this and they should probably be protected. But also, it's like when you do something so horrific, I don't want you to be protected from what the public thinks about it, you
Right. But
know?
see, at this point, that's how I feel as well. But then at the same time, he has the presumption of innocence, and that's how the jail has to treat him at this point. And so it's like, it's really a catch 22,
Yeah.
because if I were to say, oh yeah, sure, give that to him. He's an asshole. He deserves it. Right. Then what about the person that I think might be actually innocent and I would be like, so it's sort of a
Yeah.
catch 22, but he does definitely suck. His day's coming, you guys. Don't worry.
Yeah. You're right. Dude, guess what?
What?
No freaking internet like we're not cutting out when the
I'm so
internet.
proud of us.
Yay. Okay, so you ready to
Shout
hear
out
the
to my friend that lives with Allie that I know for fixing it. Good job.
I love you. That was perfect.
Thank
Okay,
you.
are you ready to hear the rest of what they say?
Yes.
Because they even get into his mom. Like you're gonna. This is kind of. It's just a little gossipy.
Okay.
Okay, so this is his mom continuing. She says, "We miss you too. This situation is just such a tragedy. We wish you could just reboot and start over, going back to the moment any of this was a possibility. Things would be so different. Until you make up your mind to share the blame, things will not change for you, and that makes me sad and mad. You both both of these are death penalty cases. If Jen is a witness, I hope you just dead eye the bitch if she can even look at you. Knowing her role in all of this, she will testify that she is totally innocent and it is all you. Don't let that happen. In my heart, I know that is not true. I still think Maddie's passing was accidental. I guess I'll find out in September or whenever. Wish I could know ahead of time and brace for it either way. I hate being blindsided. You must take more of an active role in your own defense. Quit covering up for others. You don't deserve that. So we'll pause there because and we'll get into some more. But I have to think, Jen, it's got to be hard as a parent. Like there has to be a process of accepting. And she had after the trial, like she said, she's gonna find out in September. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And in July.
Yeah.
So I think that I'm gonna try to, as much as I think it's ridiculous, like some of it, I just try to like
I
move
know what
on
you're
this,
saying.
you
Here's
know?
I think what Allie's trying to say, and this is how I feel too. At the end of the day, this is her opinion, and she is entitled to it. We don't have to agree. We can agree. We can disagree. It is what it is, but it is just her opinion and not evidence of anything.
Yeah.
Like, like his defense team is not going to put her on the stand and like she's supposed to testify as some sort of, because the only people that can give opinions in a court are experts. So they're not going to put her on the stand as an expert and ask her opinion. Even if they were to put her on the stand for, say, like mitigation, that's more than likely what they would do. The truth of the matter is the jury that listens to the penalty phase is very likely not going to give her testimony any weight at all. It would, and the reason why is because this is such a long ongoing issue, number one. And number two, jurors are more likely to listen and give more weight to mitigating circumstances when the defendant is younger. He's too old. He should know better. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
going to be a problem.
Christine, thank you for being a member for 10 months. And okay, Jen, so this part, like, I don't know. So here's the thing. The old calls and stuff we listened to were all from like a year ago. This is from like this week or very recently, right? It was only he only got it like at the end of April. This letter.
Right.
But I guess they must be releasing this. The way I understand it, I guess, is that they're giving this stuff to Jay because they know it's coming out anyway. And they want to be the one that puts it out with their own narrative. Right?
Right.
So interesting.
I mean, they're entitled. Look, I say this all the time. I'm entitled to feel how I feel. Y'all are entitled to feel how y'all feel. And sometimes under those circumstances, we're just going to have to agree to disagree. That's it. That's all. I cannot imagine what it is like to be in her shoes. I just can't.
Yeah.
And even if Stephan Stearns, this is not okay. I feel like what Deb is doing here is comparing apples and oranges. Actually, no, because that even would still be similar. At least they're both freaking fruit. She's comparing apples to a snowplow. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a difference in not ratting out your friends as a kid, as a teenager, and as an adult. Okay. Then there's this situation. And just so you know, Deb, regardless of Jen's role, whether she had a role or she didn't have a role, Florida has the law of principle. So if you participate in a crime, okay, all the parties that participated, regardless of their level of involvement, are charged the exact same way. So even if Jennifer Soto got charged tomorrow, it changes nothing for your son. That's it. That's all. And you're going to have to deal with it.
Yep. Absolutely. Um, mm. NWP, so I didn't have this scheduled, like it wasn't too far ahead planned because I've kind of been busy. But I will tell you now that tomorrow Jen and I will be on sometime, I think in the early afternoon. We'll have it scheduled. It could possibly shift a little bit, just be aware because it's Mother's Day, but we're trying to get it like not in the evening and not in the morning. So to go over some Tisha stuff. So you guys be like stay tuned and look out for that. And then Keith says, are there any connections between Stephan and the choir teacher? Could he be a witness? So there's been a choir teacher at Maddie's school that's in trouble now for um CSAM, I believe. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know too much about it. I don't think they're connected, but that's just
No, but it does show you how messed up it is. Like how these these types of um, monsters are all around.
yeah, freaking scary, man.
And we
Down the
just,
road at your kid's
yeah,
school, in your house.
exactly, exactly. And all I can think of is I just keep reminding myself, perhaps there might be something as hard as this trial coming up is going to be in July. Maybe there's something that we can learn from it so we can recognize the signs because I think that if you follow true crime, what I've come to realize is that sadly kids don't tell. And
Yeah.
so it
Yep.
becomes incumbent upon us as the adults in their lives to look for the signs. And perhaps when we watch this trial together, as hard as it's going to be and gross and just heart-wrenching, I'm so hopeful that we can take something away from this trial, that we'll have learned something that will benefit another child down the road. It just breaks my heart. It really does. I am not looking forward to covering this trial at all.
Well, I think that it has to. I think all that can be, look, what else? What's the other option? Pretend it doesn't happen and don't talk about it at all?
I mean, you're right. I know, like, there's like that rational part of me that's like this.
You're
And
doing the right.
thank you. And I might have not felt as hesitant to cover it or eh, like years ago before I had a grandbaby,
Yeah.
because when my kids became adults, yes, does that stop me from worrying about them? Hell no. There's a whole new set of worries. Okay. So, spoiler alert to you guys looking forward to when your kids become an adults and you think, I can breathe a sigh of relief. Yeah, for like 5 minutes, because then you start realizing the whole other set of issues that can keep you up at night. Right. So sorry, it's never ending. It's never ending. But I think I'm particularly sensitive
Yeah.
because
Oh, yeah.
of my grandbabies.
I think so too. And I think a lot of chatters are too, but I think you're doing the right thing streaming it. I think that and that wasn't even to you that like, well, what else is our option? It's just like
No, babe, I know. We're just having a conversation. I know that wasn't like
yeah,
directed, like, geez, Jen, you
aggression
big
towards you.
baby, grow up.
Yeah. No, it's just my aggression towards like the subject and
It
that it
is.
has to be talked about and being frustrated trying to figure out a way how to do it. And then, you know, what else do you do though? For real, that's like a good, serious question for me. Like, what else can we do? Just not talk about it at all. And then what happens?
Right.
Like, I would hope that by talking about it and watching the trials, all that can come from it is education, awareness, and hopefully some kind of change. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
but listen, we're all going to, we'll get through it together. That's all I can say. I'm going to be frustrated. You guys are going to be frustrated. Our hearts are going to be breaking for Maddie. But we can get through it together. That's all that I can offer you. And if Stephan does anything ridiculous, like maybe one of the guards, when they're bringing him in accidentally on purpose, trips him or something, I'll make a joke. I'll break up the sadness. I promise.
I would love for that. But so Marley mom says, does she sincerely think if they charged Jen that this would take away the seriousness of his crime? Yeah.
I guess maybe she would feel better on some level if there, which this makes no sense logically. Like, think about this. If Maddie was betrayed by both Stefan and Jen, somehow that would make Deb feel better.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a
I mean,
crazy
it's
way to look
messed up
at it.
as it is, but I do think that's kind of what she's saying. At least he didn't do it by himself. Like, girl.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you say it like that, wow. Mm. And maybe it's like I said, I bet it's like grieving. There's like a process of
Oh, I bet.
denial, guilt, anger, resentment. I'm sure you go through all those feelings, but okay, so wait, now you got to hear this part. This is
Oh, okay.
this is where we're going to get a little like gossipy.
See how
So
sweet Allie is? She's like, wait, just wait. She's all sweet about it right now. If it were me and I were reading this to Allie, I would be like, brace yourself.
well, this is about Jen's mom here, this part.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
it says apparently Yolanda believes herself to be the Kissimmee queen, in quotes, LOL. Not much to brag about, but she needs it to bolster her own self-worth. I guess people don't know the woman behind the mask she wears. Jen will do whatever Yolanda says to do. Her mama dearest doesn't want her social status to slip at all. Supposedly, not positive, but has been put out there, the cops that arrested you, questioned you are part of her social circle. That is why Jen was able to pull the meds excuse for lying through her teeth and get absolved of it. Unbelievable. What a crock of liquid pig shit. What?
Well,
There
damn. All right.
there are experts in body language and the markers of lying, and they all point fingers at Jen too. She totally lied and totally knew everything. So maybe your team should look into putting them on the stand as expert witnesses. You didn't hear her interviews. You didn't see her. No emotion, no tears, no regrets, just lying her ugly head off. Too many discrepancies. So don't feel like you need to cover her butt. It is well and truly already exposed. Oh, news in your area: the Kissimmee police chief resigned and several officers have been fired, all under the banner of corrupt police in Kissimmee. Kind of along the lines of Windermere before they cleaned that rat's nest up, or the Orlando police and their reputation for being physically abusive for no reason. Some people should never have a badge. How they get through psychological testing eludes me totally. Okay, I'll just read to the end. Well, I think there's one part after this. I don't know if she actually shows it though. I don't think she does. Wait, maybe right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't have a fan club out here, but neither does Jen. Unfortunately, as your parents, Chris and I don't have a lot of fans either. Some YouTube crime shows should be canceled. What a crock of gibberish they spew. Ugh. You can't even imagine hearing things about yourself that are so far from the truth you just sit in mute shock, shaking your head over the evilness of these people embody. Worse, they get away with it, and the same lies spread like fleas in a kennel. Sorry for the rant. They are fraying my last nerve. When that one snaps, Mama Bear will take over and, well, I wish I knew where that photo stick came from. Was it given to you? Wish we had the 411 on that piece of garbage. Just gross. If you ever get a letter or tablet message from Jay, she is one you can talk to. She's fair, honest, and kept every promise to me about relaying messages. Or a Callie Gal, another Mama Bear. Let me just see what the end of this is right here. It still cuts off. So then it's just about the Kentucky. They watched the Kentucky Derby. I'm not going to read all of this. The link is in the description. You guys can go watch the entire thing. But just that they had went out, nothing related to the stuff that we've been talking about, the case, Maddie, Jen, any of that. So wow, Jen, though, she is angry at Jen and the YouTube, which I can understand with the YouTube thing. It is
Right.
hard to hear somebody say shit about you that isn't true,
It is.
or that maybe is true and you just don't see fully yet, or you know
Right.
what I mean.
Right.
But damn, even accusing Yolanda of having friends in the police force, like, how hard do they have to bend? I don't know, just to try to make it's it's like they're bending the truth or bending, looking for these conspiracies for comfort in a way. Is how it
Right.
seems.
Right. It
What do you think?
it always kind of amazes me when this happens, where people will twist something. It's and I guess because it's been on my mind a lot lately, it's really reminiscent of what happened in the West Memphis 3 case. There's a specific narrative that continues to be pushed about what happened to those boys in the woods, even though when you actually read the autopsy reports, there's absolutely no evidence of that, which what happened to them, their lives being taken and all of that, that was horrific enough. And I've never understood why there's this why people would actually want that part to be true, even though it makes it worse for the kids for what they went through, even though there's no evidence of that happening. And
Yeah.
that's kind of like what this sort of reminds me of is like she wants it to be worse for Maddie, as
Yeah.
if that's somehow in any way, shape, or form diminishes her son's culpability. It doesn't on any level, not legally and not morally. Period. The end. That's it. That's all.
Yeah. And honestly, you might think that would make you feel better, but I don't think you'd still feel better because you're still
No.
looking at your son facing, all this time in prison. And yeah, I just,
Yeah. Yeah. And one thing that I want to say about all of this is um, she's made a big deal about people not crying. Okay. Well, we could argue the same point in reverse. The fact that Stephan was bawling his eyes out, is that consciousness of guilt? So, if not having emotion is consciousness of guilt, potentially, to her opinion, right? Then over emotional could also be considered consciousness of guilt. The knife cuts both ways. I'd be careful, it's sharp.
yeah. Yep, you're exactly right. Here's the end of that one. She only showed it for a second, but she just says, I can see more out here than you can in there. Some are lying wankers who want to abuse your trust for a buck. And then she ends it with, know every moment of the day you are loved, not liked much at times, just the truth, but always loved. Can't stop my heart from doing that. You are my child. You were wanted, not an accident. So regardless, the love lives on. But given the chance, you can believe I'd smack the back of your head and yell, what the fuck were you thinking? Stinking thinking. Well, I want to get this back to you, so I'll get off. Big hugs, Mom. Damn,
See,
man.
you can tell, like, just in that, it does seem like some level, of a grief response,
Yeah.
that she's going through different emotions all at the same time, and it's not linear. So I don't want to be too critical of her. I don't. I'm trying not to be an a-hole here. Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
you guys all know I believe that I could go way in on her and read her for absolute filth. But
Yep.
I do, I am a human being and I have empathy and sympathy. And there is a part of me that can see that she's going through some type of only thing I can think of is like Ali said, like grief,
Yeah.
where, it's not, and we all know that grief is not, linear. So I'm trying here,
Same. Yeah.
you know,
Me too. And it's hard
it's
because
tough.
yeah, and because we hear it's not that they're innocent of this, right? Of what he's accused of. They have nothing to do
Right.
with that. It's just when you hear like the excuses or the conspiracies and stuff that it feels so insulting. And then like you said, how is like Jen being involved, how does that make you more comfortable? Because then everybody, she
Right.
gets
Then
questioned.
Maddie really had nobody. Like, why
Yeah.
does that bring you some level of solace? I'll never understand that,
Yeah, I don't either. And that's such
you
a good
know?
like comparison with the West Memphis. Um, yeah, it really makes you see things differently. But
It
Holly, thank
does.
you for gifting a membership and welcome to whoever got it. Um, but yeah, so the rest of it is just about Star Wars Day, the Kentucky
Oh my
Derby. He's
God.
doing well. Speaking of arts and crafts,
Well, here we go.
speaking of arts and crafts, I saw something about cartooning. I've been slacking on my cartooning. I'm still working on the fundamental techniques for shading, and he's doing, more arts and crafts. But that's pretty much it. So I'm not going to read through all of that. I just wanted to hear like the parts about the relevant stuff to the case. But
Is
yeah, I
that
mean,
you in the
I don't
background, babe? Sorry, I got distracted. Is that you in the background? In the background
no,
picture? Oh, okay.
no. It's just a random beach picture of
I
coffee
love
in the
it.
morning. So I was like, ooh, we're doing kind of a morning thing.
I'm
But I'm so glad that you came up. Go ahead. What were you gonna
I
say?
was going to answer Cynthia. Cynthia said, I wonder if Jen will show up at the trial. I don't blame her if she can't stomach it or is scared of the people who hate her with a passion. Well, here's the thing. We're not quite there yet, but I would imagine that there's going to be what's called the rule of sequestration. So, what that means, but it's catchy when one of the witnesses is also a victim. So, if likely what will happen is if Jennifer Soto is a witness for the state, then what will end up happening is they'll probably put her on at the very beginning so that she can and release her from her subpoena. However, there's a caveat to that because the defense can also subpoena Jennifer Soto as a witness. And if that's the case, then there might have to be a separate hearing from the judge to decide, uh, because she is a victim and likely designated as Maddie's representative. There's some stuff that goes on. So I don't know how they're going to rule, but yeah, but that's one
Mm,
of the things that can happen.
that's gonna, yeah, it'll be, I wonder what will happen. It'll be interesting to find out. But we don't have that far. We're at May 10th.
I
July
know.
is only, sometimes I try to keep myself from saying July like a big hillbilly. It's crazy when you move away from like a real country place and or if even I tried adjusting my accent long before I moved away because of like YouTube and stuff like that. And you try to like say things in a more correct way or whatever. And then it's just weird. Your language
Yeah,
is messed up. You go back and forth, from
I
moving. You know what
do.
I mean?
Oh, I do.
I bet
I
some days you
definitely
sound
do.
real Texas and other days you
Some
don't.
days when I get real mad, yeah, I will. That twang comes right on out. And
Yeah.
even when, like, I'm not mad, like when I go home to Arizona and my family from Arizona hears me, they all swear up and down that I have a twang. I don't hear it anymore, but I mean, I can get real twangy. Ain't that right? Ain't me?
Yeah. Happy Mother's Day to you guys. Ooh, Natasha's comment is good. And then we'll talk for a second about our plans this weekend. I'm gonna let you guys go then because I got things to do. But she said, I think it's so difficult for her to accept that her son could have done this on his own volition only. So Jen having some accountability is easier for her to accept. Just my 2 cents.
I mean, yeah, I would agree with that.
Me too, because if you think about it, like, you know, part of her at one point thought that Jen found out that because now before I say this, this is the way I think she's seeing it. There is no way they were in a relationship. You cannot consent he could have groomed her into convincing her that there was something like that going on. But it
Right.
seemed like his mom was kind of thinking they had this thing going on with them and Jen found out and then took it
Right.
out on Maddie.
Like there was some, the only way I know how to say it is a love triangle. Like
Yes,
like Jen
exactly.
and Maddie were fighting over Stephan. Deb, take a step back. Seriously, because you cannot escape your brain, your true thoughts. And there's got to be some part of you in there that understands that Maddie, this started when she was 8. 8. Okay.
Yep, you answered Harley's question in your comment. So
Yeah,
8, since she was 8, and then she turned 13 on the 22nd of February, and she went missing on the 26th. So
exactly.
she
She
wasn't
was
13 for long, but
exactly. And 13 years old, guess what? 13 years old, even though 13 through 18 and on think that they know all the things. That's just how teenagers are. It's part of the experience. It is what it is. And everybody who's been a teenager, all of us, we all went through that phase, and we all look back on ourselves at teenage years and like, you didn't know nothing. You knew some stuff, but you didn't know all the things you thought you knew. She's
yeah.
13 is still is still young.
Yeah.
It's
You think,
still not
like you said.
even if there wasn't a freaking law in place, which there is, but even if there wasn't, there's a reason why the age of majority is 18. Okay. There's a reason why you can't join the military until you're 18. Now you can't even buy cigarettes or alcohol until you're 21. So
Yep. Yep.
if you can't fight a war, and if you cannot buy alcohol and cigarettes, should you really be at 13, you definitely cannot consent to any level of anything
You can be
respective.
manipulated
You
and
can be groomed,
yep,
but
exactly.
that is not that's not true consent. Consent, in my opinion,
Exactly.
means that you understand all of the potential ramifications from your decision, good and bad, that you can see the long range consequences, right? So there's studies that have been done about the decision making part of your brain, the emotional control, the part of the brain that controls your emotions, your impulsivity, etc. That's the frontal lobe, and that isn't all the way even developed until sometimes, you know, at the minimum 25, sometimes longer, depending on the person. So, no, Deb, no. Just stop right now. There was none of that was happening. Okay.
Yeah.
It is what it
And
is.
yeah, and even if like you believe that like you have to understand that if there was even any level of consent towards the end, we know there wasn't at the beginning. It's literally in the charging documents. He was threatening her to take away a game, like letting her play a game. She was watching
Right.
TV, a game on the phone or something. I don't remember exactly. But even if there was what you believe to be some level of consent at the end, you have to understand that was only because of grooming and manipulation.
Exactly.
Uh,
Exactly.
okay, before we go,
Mhm.
tomorrow I cannot wait, Jen, to go over these
Oh,
body
I
cams.
know.
You guys, if you haven't seen them, please check them out. So on my channel there's two, but you got to go to Jen's too, because we have one that's like kind of overlaps with two officers at the same time, but hers is twice as long. You got to just see both. And then the short one of mine isn't the overlapped one. And then we have the neighborhood canvas. They are
Right.
so cool to watch. Like, it's just so interesting to be able to see this after all the deep diving we've done on the case. I cannot wait to talk about it with you, to make fun of Tisha's stupid ass and the cop and his remarks and
There's
everything. It's just,
so much. There is
yeah.
so much. Although I need to know, El Paso County, why come when y'all were in that backyard, I know y'all were talking because I could see your lips moving. Why come that part was muted? I need to know what y'all said because I am nosy.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I can't wait. And even I think because there is some overlap, right? I still think we should do all of it. Like, we can do the two that are on my channel here and go to yours and do the others, because number one, you're seeing different perspectives, they're looking in different areas, they're saying different stuff. And also, I always need to watch stuff a couple times to really grasp it anyway, so I think it'll just help us like see the situation for what it is.
Yes.
And then I got to ask you,
Yes.
did you see that like all kinds of new evidence was released in the new Dateline for Idaho 4?
I have seen it. I have not been able to watch it. So I'm looking forward to that. And if I'm not mistaken, our pal MJ, aka Melissa Jade, has a live scheduled for tomorrow night
Yes.
going over that very thing. So I listen, I followed the Idaho 4 case all the way. I've been following it this whole time. I've just been like quiet about it. But I am definitely, see, there's some new things that have come out that weren't part of the Dateline. Specifically, one of the things is Brian Koberger's potential diagnosis of being OCD and on the autism spectrum, and how that could potentially impact the death penalty
Right. I don't think it's
because
going to. Did you see that the judge was like, I
it
don't,
won't.
yeah.
It
And
shouldn't.
then, do you remember? Oh no, Holly, I hate that. So she accidentally gifted. She was gardening. I didn't see any messages. But that sucks. And I do that often, actually, like accidentally type when I'm doing other stuff. But Jen, remember last year when that fake audio was released of the dog barking and the thud and
Mm-hmm.
everything? They put the real audio out. I haven't seen it either, but I did get to talk to Melissa and Wolfie for a little bit, and uh, they explained to like I cannot wait to watch it. It's going to be so good, and watch Melissa's live. They released new pictures, new information about the wounds on the victims and things
Oh
like that. They
no.
like
Which,
yeah, just so
that's
much
hard
stuff.
for the family. It just breaks my heart because they died a brutal death.
They did, and it's also it raises some questions for me, like why.
Oh,
Yeah, well, so I know not to spoil anything for people, but I'll just say, remember when Annie Elise put the info out about Ethan and the injuries, how bad they were on his thighs and stuff, and people were like, there. So apparently that was true. There was like some slashing or something. I don't know. We'll wait for Melissa because I
oh
don't know, I haven't even
dear.
watched it yet. I'm kind of repeating secondhand information, but they released a lot of shit that was unknown. So
Well, damn, I'm gonna have to go watch it now. And then, if you're listening, Melissa, I'm gonna write down questions. I'm gonna have questions, and I might have follow up questions. So be ready.
Holly said, "I'm okay with it. I'm glad I gifted that. Haha, that was nice of me. Thank you, Hollywood. Thank you." And then, yes, you should write down your questions, and then we'll go watch her together and kind of get the rundown and ask questions. But I'm
Yes.
so glad that you came up. I had to ask
Me
you because I'm like,
too.
dude, I want to hear your thoughts. I've been talking about this with you for so long now. Like, don't ever feel like you have to. If I
No, never.
okay,
Please.
I just
No,
because
I
when
just
I
love
saw,
talking about this stuff with you.
I
Just
do
because it's
too.
one of those things that we followed from the very beginning together, had many, many conversations about, especially in the beginning. I was, and so was Allie. We were so worried about um, the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, who went missing at the exact same time, was reported missing at the exact same time as Madeline Soto. And we were so worried that Madeline Soto, that they wouldn't get equal coverage. And both cases were so scary, and we wanted both of them home. And we were worried about that.
Yes. No, that's why I wanted you to come up because I thought like I know when you're talking about something and I want to like have something to say, I want to come up and talk about it with you. Just for the
Yes.
discussion. It could be private or a
Yes.
panel. I just want to talk about it with you.
Me too.
So
I love talking. We have the best conversations, you guys. Now, you'll never be privy to them, but you get a little glimpse of our conversations on the panel. We
on
talk just
YouTube.
like this to each other.
Yes.
So,
So true. And I
you're
love
right, Cynthia. Elijah Vu hasn't gotten much coverage.
yeah.
He did in the beginning,
Yeah.
and then
Good.
it just sort of, and I don't know what that is about. If that's about there's not a lot of, and there's not information, new information or something. I'm not sure, but I guess you know what, Cynthia, I'll look into that for you, and I'll find out what the newest, latest update is with Elijah Vu, and I'll talk about it. How about that?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you should. I would love that. There's a lot
Okay.
that don't get covered. Okay, Tess said he carved his legs. They used the word carved. So he wrote something like in I don't know. And it's like, why? That's what I meant by like it raises more questions. It
Carved also is a term that's used, if you think about it. with respect to like when you carve the Thanksgiving turkey. So it
Like
can
a
mean a
certain
couple
way of
of
cooking.
different things. Yes.
Okay.
So I
Well,
don't know what they mean by it because I haven't watched it and what context. You know me, I'm big about context,
which
but
most
I'm
people should be. Yeah.
curious about that. I'm really,
Okay. I got to jump off and go
me
get my
too.
mama something for Mother's Day.
Oh, you
Um,
better.
but
And hey, if you guys in the back can hear the kiddos in the background, you better spoil Allie rotten. She's a good damn mama.
they can't hear, but I'm gonna tell him you said that. And then please go check out Jen's channel. I'm dropping that link now. Jay's channel, which is in the description. Watch the full video, read all the messages, because we did not go over all of them. And then I'm gonna drop Melissa's for Idaho tomorrow, and then we'll see you tomorrow sometime too. So I'm excited. It's a lot. We got a
Yes.
lot to do.
I'm so
All right.
excited, you guys. Thank you so much for having me, Allie, and every one of you, if I see you or especially if I don't see you, but I just want to wish all of you guys a very, very happy Mother's Day. May you be spoiled in the way that you deserve, like you spoil your whole family by taking care of them every day. Take a break, take a moment.
Well,
Have a
back
good
at you, Bendy.
day.
Even
Thank
still
you.
taking care of your family, which you're still doing, even when they're grown and stuff. So, but
I do. I
that's
love my family. I do anything for them.
same here, and sometimes day to day it can get exhausting doing all the things like cleaning, cooking, getting the
Yes.
kids ready for all the things. Like, and you can be
Yes.
like, but
Yes.
it's
Like I didn't get to
so
see
so
Chicky
worth it.
Nuggy Pot Pie all
So
this week
awesome.
except for Thursday. And when I did see her, oh, Granny, I missed you so much. And then, we did dinner. We had dinner together, and then it was bath time because if I know if I offer to give a bath, I can keep her a little longer. So I offered a bath, and we were talking while she was in the tub, and we decided we cannot and will not go that long without seeing each other again. That's too much. We need to see each
Yeah.
other every day. I miss her
Yes.
too much when she's not here.
Yep. You
So,
got to make it a everyday thing then, and soak in
absolutely.
all the time you can, man. Life is short. Um,
Absolutely. Especially
Hippie,
because you know
happy
what she
Mother's
said to
Day.
me, Allie? I forgot to tell you this part. Sorry. I
It's
just
okay.
gush when it comes to her. When I was getting her all lotioned and potioned up. Y'all know how I do. And she says, I love you, Granny. You're my best. Give me a big
Oh,
old hug around the neck and a squeeze. Oh, I just love it.
she said you're my best.
You're my best.
Oh
Mhm.
my God, I love
I
that.
know. I know.
My
And then
mom.
she was telling me, also, Granny, I did get in trouble this week because I was all spiced up and I wasn't listening. And
Oh,
that is a granny term. That is what I call when Alice and Matt get the zoomies. Oh, they're spiced up. They're extra spicy. And she's picked up a lot of stuff. Oh, and the chunkala thing. I forgot to tell you guys this too. And then I really will get off and let Allie talk. Because this is just too cute. I taught Olivia to say, these are my chunkless. Okay. So when we were at the doctor's, because it's at the hospital, she was sent for an x-ray. They wanted to look at her hips and stuff. So she was laying on the x-ray table and she said to the x-ray technician, the x-ray technician said, I like your sandals. And Livy said, these are my chunkless, which got her 2 stickers and 2
oh,
lollipops. So
I
there.
love that.
Anyway, thank you.
I love it. Well, it's funny because spicy is a term I use too. Hell, Spicy Amy has been here on the channel for a while, and we use it here at the house too. And then the other thing, the best
Yes.
friends. My mom has told me my entire life I was her best friend, and she says that to my kids too, and it is so sweet because she means it. And yeah, so I
Aw.
love that. That is so precious. How would Aunt Brenda say Happy Mother's Day, Bendy, before we go?
Hey, baby. I just wanted to wish y'all a happy Mother's Day, all you mothers out there. Now, make sure that when you're cleaning out your car, there's no bras out there and don't be walking around with your cooter hanging out. That's bad form. I love you all, babies.
That's bad form. Speed crumbs. I love you
Ah,
guys. Bindi, I love you. Thank you for being here. And I will
you're
see you
welcome.
guys
I love you
tomorrow.
too. You look huge. Bye.
I love it. Oh, I
Ah,
cannot wait for us to go over it tomorrow. Last thing I'm going to say, and I'm seriously hitting end stream. When we got these, I thought, and we watched a little bit and saw, ooh, this is really interesting. All I could think was, I cannot wait to do a live with Jen, laugh, just hang out with you guys, spend some time. Like, just, I miss it. And just, it's
me
like
too.
kind of refreshing in a way because we spent so much time doing it, and we'll just laugh and be so unserious.
Yes,
It's not related to the crime. It was long
exactly.
before. No kids are in it, thank God.
Right.
And
We were worried about that.
yeah, so we can just enjoy it, and it'll be fun time together. So, Mother's Day
I'm
present.
s- for all of us
Yes.
from Alex Erickson, Allie, and the ward Bindi Lou.
Yes.
Happy Mother's Day
Exactly.
to you.
I love it. All right. Bye, you guys.
Bye, guys.